What's going on, everybody? This is Afro Think Tank. Today I want to talk specifically to the Continental African content creator who's sharing African American experiences and knowledge, and they're sharing that knowledge with the Continental Africans to spread awareness about, our situation on the planet and what it is the palm colored people do, and all of our history and things like that. There is one particular thing that Continental Africans are sharing about African Americans that I hate, because it's a lie and it's wrong and it's false propaganda. That's the Native American indigenous narrative. Okay? It's getting out of hand. It's ridiculous. I don't know. Dane Calloway really did a number. And Dane Calloway is from my city. Me and Dane Calloway are from the same place. All right, we're from the same place. He is a light-skinned African-American guy that's probably on the spectrum, but he knows how to operate effectively socially, and he's tricked all these people into believing that they're Native Americans simply because their grandmama said they were Native Americans because they were ashamed that they got raped by the white man. Understand this. You got several different types of pretendians, okay? And I'm talking to you Continental Africans, because you guys need to stop spreading that lie that African Americans are indigenous to we're not indigenous. We are not indigenous in no way to North America, the American continent. We are not indigenous. We are not from here. There is no evidence. There's nothing. Listen, African Continental Africans, we are West Africans from the coast of West Africa. That is it. That is it. That is it. We are not Native Americans, no matter how much these low information, listen, the ones calling themselves Native Americans, they're low information. They don't know anything. They fall for anything. They fell for it because it makes them, it feels good to them. Black people in America have always tried to other ourselves because white people always made us feel ashamed to be African. Do you understand? We African people, the struggle that we have been over here, you got to understand, because a lot of you guys, y'all doing lots of comprehensive studies of African Americans in our history now. Now that everybody's sharing information, you guys are really getting into it, right? So you see the trauma that we dealt with. So when you're traumatized generationally, right, and you're constantly told for hundreds of years that you ain't shit, you ain't never gonna be shit, you ain't never done shit, by people who are so jealous of your accomplishments, they had to make it their business as a culture to belittle you in order to steal all of your magnificent shit, right? In order to steal all of your magnificent shit, right? And justify it in their barbaric heads. They had to make you feel like you weren't shit, even though you were the exact opposite of what they called you, right? And they were projecting themselves onto you. So everything that these low informational African Americans who are ashamed to be African because they were taught and bred, it was bred into families to be ashamed to be a part of something that never contributed anything to society. Keep that in mind. So you got all these people running around talking about they Native American. Now I want you to peep this. They say they're Native American, but that is as far as they go with their scholarship. They can't tell you, these so-called indigenous can't tell you the name of their tribe for real. They can't tell you any cultural practices of these so-called Indian tribes. They can't tell you anything, right? So you got the ones that say they're part Indian. Now keep in mind, the five civilized tribes, as white people called it, some of them enslaved us. So we were slaves to the Native Americans. Do you understand? So a lot of black people who in America are saying that they are connected to Native America, they're Indians, simply because their ancestors were enslaved by the Native Americans. Enslaved, okay? You hear me? Okay, so that's your connection to Native Americans. Some, very few Native African Americans married some Native Americans, right? and had children. There are some actual mixed Native Americans and African Americans. They are mulattoes. They are mixed, all right? Just like there are some African Americans who mix with white people. There are some African Americans that mix with with Indians from India. There are some black people who mix with Japanese or like anything else, right? We mix. Throughout history, black people, we will stick our black eggplant in pretty much anything, right? And we all know that the rest of the men of the world love our black chocolate women. And they've been graping them every opportunity they get. So that trauma from being graped is what stops a lot of black people from admitting that they're African. They don't want to, and the light-skinned ones like myself, you see I'm light-skinned, right? But I'm black. I'm not mixed, right? But I know what it's like to be, I have a unique look, right? So growing up, everybody thought I was something. Asian people thought I was Asian. Hawaiians thought I was Hawaiian. Spanish people think I'm Spanish. Everybody think I'm everything. But when I go to Africa, they know what I am because they got the eye. They got that ancient, Africans got that ancient black eye, they know, right? So I understand what it's like to be pushed or to be made fun of for being something other and all that. And for all intents and purposes, I should have a complex, but I don't because I'm very strong-headed, right? I don't have a complex. But, and I also, my grandma also was an Indian, all right? And I got Indian in my family, just like every other black person. Every other light skin got Indian in their family. If your hair is a 4-3, is a C3 and not a C4, I got Indian in my family, not knowing that in Africa they got all the C levels, all the hair type, but we don't know that, okay? So from our perspective, we make shit up. Right? That's what we do. So there are no, now, here's something they're using. They're misconstruing history, right? To bolster a narrative that they've created. Now, did ancient Africans travel to the Americas? Sure. I'm a historian. I believe they did. There is evidence that we traveled and we traded with the ancient Americans. That does not mean that we moved over here in such significant numbers that we have a significant population that can be counted now. That is not the case. That is not the case at all. If we had any semblance of a population that landed in Americas would have been absorbed into the local population. So the local population would have African DNA in them, either from the ancient times, that would be hard to find, or from the recent times. It might be hard to like distinguish the difference. Right? But even so, that would have happened in South America for the most part, not North America. The people of North America are Asiatics who came over the Alaskan Strait. All right? African people who are in America came over here, especially America, like 300 years ago at the latest for the most part. We just got here from West Africa. Literally. There are videos of people who remember their parents who told them that they got off the ship. Remember, y'all gotta look at time. It started in America from West Africa, Nigeria, that coast. We started coming to the North America, us African Americans. We were the latecomers. We only been here for like 200-300 years at the most, right? A lot of us can go almost all the way back. Some of us just got here 200 years ago. Some of us have barely even been here for 200 years from West Africa. My family, I know the exact African and his name that came from Nigeria. Literally, my family tree. The exact black African man, right, that came here to America. And guess what? Guess who he married? He married a Native American woman. But everybody else after that were black. Right? That's just what it was. Probably some white rapes went along in there. Obviously, well, not obviously, because there's light-skinned people in Africa who don't have any European in them. But African Americans don't know that. We all think most African Americans think Africans are all dark-skinned, big nose, big lips, stereotypical, regular West Africa, like the kind you see at Bank of America doing security. That guy. That's what they think the entire continent look like. And if African Americans don't look like that, then we can't be African. That's how shallow thinking some of these African Americans are. All right, these guys are delusional. They're delusional. All right, and you Africans are sharing delusion and spreading delusion. So y'all have continental Africans thinking that we're just indigenous everywhere. Now, did Africans leave America? Leave Africa and populate the world? Yes, but at some point we evolved and became the thing we are. At some point, Africans became Asian. At some point, Africans became Europeans. At some point, well, that's it. That's all it really is. You got Africans, Europeans, Asians. Only like 3 different, really, if you think about it. There's only 3. You got Africans, Asians, Europeans, and a combination mix of all the rest. Arabs, what is an Arab? An Arab is an African and an Asian European mix. That's it. What's a Latino? A Latino is a African, Africoid, Americano, Indian, European mix. That's the only mix there is. Black, Asian, European. And we just keep naming them. Arab, Spanish, mulatto, you know, you name it, right? We got a name for it. And you ever notice it's always the mixed people cause problems, right? I'm just saying. I'm just throwing throughout history, it's always been the mixed people used to attack the darker hued people, because white people accept mixed in yellow light people better than they do darker people, because the darker you are, the more scarier you are to white people. So they can accept lighter, you know, they're a little more comfortable around the lighterness. That's why they always pick lighter people to work around them, because they can accept, they can process that more. The darker you are, the more dangerous and scary and intimidating you are, all right? You know, we're a black belt automatically, if you know what I mean. And you know, the weakest is always the white belt. You know, it's always been like that, right? So that's the case in there. And if you want to talk about the belt reference, the belt before the black belt is the brown belt. So, you know, either way, we on top. So, you know, please, Africans, stop spreading that false propaganda. There is no, we are not from here. And if any African American who can't look in the goddamn mirror, like, look, the mirror is your primary evidence. If you go to Nigeria, you would notice, like, and that's the thing, that's why I can't wait for Nigeria to come on deck to start advertising themselves around the world, because once the world gets to see what a Nigeria looks like, not the guy working at Bank of America, all right, not the guy doing your taxes, not that guy, all right, not the guy driving the cab. I'm talking about the regular, everyday Nigerian that look like me and look like every random African American, because we are Nigerians. We are Nigerians, and Nigerians are Africans. They're a collection of Africans from all over Africa, north, east, south, central. They are the combination, as the metropolitan area of black humanity, that area that we call Nigeria, West Africa. And that's where we're from. That's who we are. And our history is so great. And first of all, why you connect yourself to the Indians? What have they done to make you so proud? As a matter of fact, out of all the places that the European came and conquered and destroyed, the Native Americans had it the second worst out of everybody. The Tasmanians had it the worst out of everybody because they're extinct. White people made them extinct. And you Native Americans are on the endangered species list because of white people. And yet you connect yourself to them people who don't have nowhere close to accomplishments as us. They have nowhere close to the accomplishments and the accolades and the historical architecture and history and depth and they don't have not even a tenth of what we have. Yet they willy-nilly connect themselves to something they know nothing about. They don't know anything about the thing they say they are, because they're so busy running from what they are. And continental Africans need to stop spreading that propaganda. We are African, whether we know it or not. It can't change. Last time I checked, an Asian is still an Asian no matter where the Asian is. An African is still an African no matter where the African is. If a human being, right? If a human being is born on Mars, he's still a human being. He's not a Martian. He's a human being. His nationality may be Martianic, but guess what he is? He's still a human being, right? No matter where he is. And that's just how it is. We are African because that's what we are. The place that we come from is Africa. We are African because we come from Africa. That's what we are. And that's it, and that's all. Anyway, tell me what you guys think in the comment section. It's Afro Think Tank. Learn some, teach some. I'm out.